So I have Mr. Mello with me tonight, our assistant principal, and I wanted to start the presentation by thanking the Board of Education because today we had visitors from Red Hook come and they wanted to see our schedule and our community lunch, and it really helped us to reflect on all the things we've done over the past 3 or 4 years between a new block schedule, between a community lunch, going to IB, and really that was all possible because of the support of the Board of Education. And I want to thank you because really the kids showed us today how much these things have benefited them, and I wanted to start by mentioning that. Am I in presentation mode? Much better, thank you. So today, again, I wanted to start with our PVHS highlights, and really I should start it as thriving. How have we gotten back to normal, or how are we working to get back to normal after this pandemic, and how are students thriving, and how is faculty thriving at the high school? So today we did have about 10 people total from Red Hook come to visit. They met with teachers, they met with students, and I have to say, well, I was very appreciative of everything the teachers did. The students warmed my heart, and I'm gonna put Dom on the spot over there because, first of all, look at how finely dressed he is in his tie and suit. What an excellent representation of our high school. And student government met with them at the end of the day to debrief a little bit, and the teachers asked them questions, and then also we had some other throughout the day, NHS members give tours of the building to the Red Hook, and they were just amazed at just how nice everybody was, how the students went out of their way to help them, just the friendly atmosphere. And I just want to refer to what Dom said in, do you remember what you said that warmed my heart in the interview this afternoon?
Which part?
The brotherhood. Brotherhood.
What I said was that the community lunch really brings together all different classes. It isn't a stereotypical high school with seniors picking on freshmen or that sort of, community. It's really, a brotherhood. It's really a closely knit community, and it truly brings out the best in others. When you see a senior sitting next to a freshman, sitting next to a sophomore, everyone being able to come together and overcome their differences and just enjoy the school.
No, and again, thank you, Dom, for saying that, because that's always been our goal at the high school, is to strive to make sure everyone feels included, everyone feels a part of something, and hearing that today really said we're on the right track. And throughout our presentation tonight, we're not really introducing any new initiatives. We've done the big movement. We've done the change to block scheduling. We keep evolving. We've done the community lunch. We're implementing IB. Tonight, our presentation is going to be about how to enhance those things and keep improving. So I'm going to have Mr. Mello talk a little bit about a couple of things we're doing to improve student life.
Yeah, all right, great. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to kind of present a bunch of these things to the Putnam Valley community. I think there's a lot of great things going on. I got to say, I really enjoy my job. I can come to work and I can enjoy my job. And one of the things that really highlights that is a day like today. There's challenges. Every job has challenges. But I can come to work, and we've got students like Dom, a whole bunch of other students throughout this building, and you can tell they really enjoy being here. It's one of those things where it really lights up the hallways, and you maybe you take it for granted here and there, but then when you have another school visit and you really get to see all these students and all these really nice comments that they have, we didn't coach them. We weren't like, okay, we need you to tell them, that our teachers are awesome. They came out with all those things themselves. Even though that's not what Red Hook was here for. They were here to see block scheduling, community lunch, and those kinds of things. Yet, our students, you really heard these great things coming from our students about the school. And not just the students, the staff as well. So it was really refreshing to see that. But that's what makes this job so great. So, sorry, I went off on a little tangent. We have a couple things that are going on right now. PVHS volleyball tournament during lunch. The phys ed teachers every year organize this tournament. The students love it. They give up their lunchtime to come out for some physical activity, a lot of trash talking, those kinds of things going on. But it's a great, event that happens each year, and the students really get into it. The other thing that we'll go switch the academic kind of situation here. The IB program, every IB class has what we call an internal assessment. That's an IA, because our science IB courses are taught in 1 year as well as our psychology course. Those courses, we carved out an IA day for those students. So on, say, Tuesday, IB bio students did not go to their regular scheduled classes. They did their IB internal assessment work on that day. The reason why that's important, with sciences and psychology, they have experiments that they have to do, they need data that they have to collect, and so this gives them the day to work with other students in the building to help them with that research that they're doing. So it was a great experience. If you could have walked into the classroom, I walked into the physics room, I walked into the psychology room, and they weren't just there though, they were all over the building. Some of them were in the wellness center doing experiments in there, in the library, in the gym, in the weight room, the sports, exercise, and health medicine class. They were using all kinds of different facilities. And so they're using that for data collection for their IAs. So it was a great experience to see. That was last week, that we had these IA days built in for those classes and those students who got a lot of that IA work done during that time. Next, we have, you want this? All right.
Walk Across America, which I think some of the district office is involved in. So Andrea Billy and Ryan Elsasser started this a couple of years ago in honor of Mr. Trabacchino, who passed away. And this is to get everybody heart healthy, and so people sign up, they donate money, and the money is then given in a scholarship to a PVHS senior. And everybody records their steps, and then they move us in a map across the country to see who gets to the Pacific coast first. So we challenged everybody to get on board, and throughout the district, there's over 100 people now this year who are walking across America in teams, and it's really wonderful. We have almost $700 collected for the scholarship for the senior, which I'm happy to see because I'd love to see more scholarships for our seniors that were available. And it's just going to be a good event to get outside, get heart healthy, and overcome, the really years now we've had of the pandemic. But it's a good opportunity for camaraderie and a good spirit.
The other thing we're doing, through building steering, working with a bunch of the students. Some of the feedback we've gotten from students is they want more events. They want more places to go to hang out with friends. And so really it's the students that are driving us towards some of these spring events, like a spring spirit week, a spring fling. Sandy knows how much I love dances, so it's very exciting to be able to run one in the spring as well. And so they're all great stuff, but it's directed by the students. They're really the ones driving that. Dr. Sepe and I are just like, okay, we're here, whatever you need, we'll get it done. And then the last thing, we just had a blood drive the other day. It's the second one that the National Honor Society has done. I always sign up for a late time on that because, I don't want to have everybody watch me, wobble as I get off the table and try and make it over to the apple juice and cookies, so I can get back out with my day. So I wait till the end of the day, so it's less conspicuous for me. But it's great. We've done it in the PAG. The people come in are really good. Quick, nice, easy process to donate some blood. Obviously there's a shortage of blood out there. There always is, especially now where during the pandemic they haven't had as many blood donations as we've had in the past. So it's great to see that second event that just happened.
Been doing a wonderful job with National Honor Society and the students, Amanda Orlando, Olivia Goncalves, working to promote that blood drive, and they have collected more pints this past year than they have previously before the pandemic. And it just shows you the students, they want to get back involved, they want to contribute to society, they want to participate in society, and we're very happy to see that. So just beginning with some nuts and bolts items, so a little PVHS enrollment overview. As we know, population in the high school is slowly, diminishing a little bit. 3 or 4 years ago, we were about 560, 580. We had a large class last year of 156 that has now graduated out of the building. So we're about approximately, give or take on a certain day, about 530 students. And we're pretty even, 135, 140 next year, 123, 132. Now, how does this relate to the budget? One of the things is, while our enrollment is slowly declining, we do have other needs that we have to consider, and we do have a growing ENL population, but that while we have had to hire in that area ENL support, we have, when we've had retirements or other people who left us, we have not had to replace them. So you could see back in 2018-19, we had 56 teachers. For next year, we're projected to be around 52. And we do share staff with the middle school. So that is in there, give or take, we have 0.2s or 0.4s. Otherwise, we're very consistent, and we've reduced our clerical staff. 4 years ago, we had, in 2017, 2018, we had 4 12-month clerical. Now we have 3 12-month and 1 10-month. And this you've seen before. This was my little vision of the house at PVHS and how everything is connected. And most important to Mr. Mello and I is the social emotional piece for students. How are they feeling? Are they feeling stressed or anxious? And Dom, I'm going to keep putting you on the spot, but remember there was one day where I came into TOK and I asked how everybody was doing, and they were very stressed because they needed more time to work on certain projects, and I said, okay, we'll go back and get that for you. And we created some core days for the students to get some of their major papers done and things like that to kind of assist them along the way. So the social emotional well-being of our students is extremely important, and I do want to compliment Mr. Mello, who really goes out of his way to teach students empathy, to be very compassionate to students, and work with them in a manner where he's teaching them good behaviors, and it's not just about consequences. And as we could see here, the roof is the International Baccalaureate program, and it's important to note that the IB program covers all of the things that we do in school. IB is very, very focused on social emotional well-being of students and wants to create students who are caring, who are responsible, who are balanced, who are principled. And that's part of the social emotional learning we do every day. So some people incorrectly might think that IB is just for a few distinct students, and that is not the case. We are an IB world school, and that means that IB, the philosophy of IB, the interdependentness, the international mindedness, all these different philosophies, the mission, the core, the IB profile, all touch all students within the school. This is something that is in 9th grade classes as embedded, it's in 10th grade classes, and we made sure when we started to implement this program that all English teachers were trained in IB so that they could start to incorporate these qualities into their classes. And they do lessons on the learner profile, they are working on the skills needed for 11th grade. So it's really important to note that we are a school that focuses on all these important approaches to teaching through IB and teaching inquiry. And that's good teaching. That's not IB. Teaching through inquiry is good teaching. Letting students develop questions, letting them do the research, letting them come up with the data. That's good instruction. And that's what IB focuses on. So it's not just 11th and 12th graders that are doing that. That happens 9 through 12. You want to talk about theory of knowledge?
My mic on? All right, good. So theory of knowledge, really we can, in a nutshell, kind of say like it's teaching students to, understand why they think, right? Teaching students to have a theoretical understanding of why they might know something, and then be able to, prove why they do know things. So, I'm sure Dom could enlighten us even more about the TOK classes because he is involved in that. And I've seen some like amazing, stuff going on in the TOK classes. Now,
So we just finished the first cohort, which means I have finished the TOK program because it was from the second semester of last year to the first semester of this year. And it is difficult to describe because it is such a wonderful class and it doesn't neatly fit into any category. It's not simply a philosophy class or an ethics class. It's not you sitting around pondering all day. It's you legitimately looking at not only our history, but our cognitive thought and our interaction with the world around us, both natural and technological and societal, and seeing how that interaction affects you. And Dr. Macera teaches the class so well, keeps us so engaged. There's never a dull moment. I enjoy the class. Honestly, it was a great experience. I loved it.
And of course, what we're focusing on, we want to teach students to understand multiple perspectives, right? Especially in this world today. We have a lot of division, we have a lot of separation, and we want to teach students to understand all perspectives and to make their own choices and their own decisions. And that's one of the things that all classes focus on through this program.
so again, we talk about IB for all, and we talk about the benefits to all students. And I know like IB is an 11th and 12th grade program, but all of those ideas and principles that and skills that we're trying to get those students to develop in 11th and 12th grade or master in 11th and 12th grade are being developed in 9th and 10th grade as well. So there's kind of like this, trickle down effect with IB in raising the bar for students, starting in 9th grade, working up to 10th grade, and then being able to attempt these, higher level courses in 11th and 12th grade. I think that's like one of the things, the hidden benefits of IB. Everybody sees it as a program for 11th and 12th grade, but it's really the foundation built in 9th and 10th grade based on the IB aspects that is going to allow those students to be more well-rounded when they leave Putnam Valley.
Schools around the country that are working towards project-based learning. With IB courses, we're already there. That is what kids are doing. They are driving their own learning by choosing topics of their own interest, and it's not just the diploma candidates. That's happening in all IB classes, and that is project-based learning. They're taking real-life issues, applying the knowledge that they know, and solving problems. I already mentioned the learner profile and how students are, we really work to create these types of students. And also IB has a focus on civic activity. You just gave a wonderful, PV Pride Award for community service. That's what IB focuses on. How do you help others? How do you teach others how to reflect? How do you teach others skills? Just a real focus on the community and bringing everybody together. And also, of course, very important is that it's a well-rounded program. It involves the arts, it involves music, it involves film, English, sciences. Students need to take every course to develop their skills, and then they can make choices about what they want to do afterwards. I just threw this picture in. This is drawn by Treat Thorpe, one of our seniors. This was our Aspire winner, and I love it because it shows everybody working together towards lifting up the earth, and really kind of represents international mindedness, connectedness, and the coming together and the brotherhood that Dom spoke about earlier. The big question is, how do we continue to academically challenge and inspire students at our school, and what would be the budgetary implications of that? So we do have a few new courses. We have some really interesting ones: real-world financial literacy, crypto, real estate, and more. If you haven't heard, the young people really are into the whole crypto craze, and so this is a way to teach them about it, teach them about real estate, real financial terms, and getting an understanding of that. We also have Spanish for native speakers. We do have many, many native speakers now who speak very fluent Spanish, but we need a way to challenge them, so we're looking at offering the Spanish for native speakers course. A marketing and social media course. So if you've scrolled through TikTok or Instagram or Facebook, you see that there's a lot of advertising, and it's a lot of social media advertising where People learn, 6-second videos and how to advertise their product in 6 seconds. And that's some of the things that they would be doing in this course, learning about how to showcase their skills. And then we also have anticipated a district Mandarin position that would have some part-time classes in the high school. Also, we need a Seal of Civic Readiness advisor. We have had a couple of teachers working on this year. This is a pilot program which Putnam Valley High School is honored to be a part of. And only about 66 schools in the state, I believe, are a part of the pilot. We are one of them. And really the students are required to do is quite similar to what IB classes require. Students have to identify a civic issue, a problem facing them, facing their community, facing their school, analyze the issue, and they have to present both sides of the issue. What are both points of the issue? They have to offer solutions. They have to present this to the rest of the class, and it's really a quite challenging project. And so far, we've had 20 students who've received the seal based on their past history of passing US and global Regents classes, and also from doing this extra project. So we look forward to the spring when we're going to have more students who take participation in government the second half of the year working on this capstone project. And it's really working again on those skills of choosing something of their interest, whether it's recycling, whether it's something with the environment, looking how it affects their community, presenting all sides of it, and coming up with solutions.
The other thing we want to highlight is the academic rigor, and where that's gone over the past couple of years. And really, it's driven by IB and the excitement within the building, about IB from the students. I want to point this out. There are 114 seniors taking an IB language and literature. So that's 114 out of our 156 seniors that are taking an IB course in their senior year. If you go back, we probably had, on a good year, 50 or 60 students taking higher level courses as seniors. Because generally speaking, seniors, have this major push in the fall, and then it's like, okay, we got accepted into colleges and things like that, and they kind of want to relax. These students can't relax, because they're taking IB courses. I think it's amazing. Last year we had 79 seniors. This year 114. That's 74% of your senior class. That's unheard of. It's unbelievable. We're so excited about that. It just says a lot about how the students will challenge themselves given the opportunity. And they understand the benefits of taking these courses. We also have 98 students taking IB exams in chemistry, biology, physics, and sports, exercise, and health sciences. I think last year we had about 66 students doing that. 79 students taking IB individuals and societies. And then the other thing that we're seeing is more students at a younger age taking AP exams. So we pushed our AP exams down into 9th and 10th grade. And let me tell you, most students do not have the maturity, academic maturity, to write those essays and things like that. But they're taking those courses anyway, and they're learning and developing those skills that are going to just benefit them later on. So 50 freshmen taking AP World History. If you look, nationwide, there might be only 5 or 6 schools nationwide that are doing AP World History in 9th grade. Those students will then go on to AP European History in 10th grade, and then on to IB, which is individuals and societies. And then we also have 44 sophomores taking AP English, and that number just keeps moving up and up. So it's great to see the rigor that's in place, and that students are rising to that occasion and taking on those challenges academically, and it's only going to benefit them moving forward. Next, we talk about what we have to make sure that we're doing. IB being a program, the International Baccalaureate is very concerned with making sure that schools that have the IB program are staying current. They're following the plans that are set in place, and it forces you as a school district to kind of reflect every 5 years, because they're going to send evaluators in to make sure that we're doing what we're supposed to meet the needs of the students and capture, really what is the heart of the IB program and make sure that we're following all that. So in 2023, 2024, we'll have our 5-year evaluation. So that means that we need to start planning now to make sure that we are ready for the evaluation in 2023, 2024. But what this allows us to do is one of the basic tenets of IB, continually reflect on what you do. We ask the students to reflect. It's embedded in like everything that they do in IAs and things like that. We ask the teachers, they're supposed to reflect on what they did with their approaches to teaching this year, and then the adjustments that they're going to have to make in the following years. And we also ask the district to reflect on what we're doing and how we're meeting the needs of the teachers and the students. So there's a lot to look at there over the course of the next year. We're excited about it. And it's allowing us to kind of like, okay, where were we 3 years ago when we started this program? Where are we now? And where do we need to be in the next 2 years? So it keeps you focused on vision and making sure that you keep, looking at what you're doing and correcting, adjusting your vision moving forward so that you're continually working at meeting the needs of a changing academic society that's out there.
And I also just want to add in that many schools in our region pay extra to be part of the Tri-States Consortium or the Middle States Consortium, which are evaluation programs for schools. And those are rigorous process, but because we have IB, that's in a constant state of evaluation and reflection, we don't have to pay extra money to be part of those consortiums because we have our own evaluation and reflection process. So it's good to note that there's always this cycle in place where we're looking at our unit planning, we're looking at our curriculum, we're looking at our approaches to teaching so that we can keep improving for our students. Social-emotional learning, how do we continue to help students navigate adolescence? You might have seen this past week, I sent out an email about cell phone use, and we really have seen an uptick in the use of cell phones by students since the pandemic. It can at times be problematic, so I put out some solutions to kind of partner with parents and help with that problem. It is something that we struggle with every day, and we're working towards, trying to educate students. And certainly that is something that we look for the future. We have not really had many assemblies because of the COVID pandemic, but we look forward next year to bringing more speakers in, inspirational speakers, speakers who can talk about the dangers of cell phone use, vaping, etc. We also have to update our classroom furniture. We were on a good cycle for a little while, but we paused for the pandemic and for other needs in the district. And now, moving forward, we have a few classrooms that we need to replace. So we're working on that with Mr. Spittle and Dr. Luft. And then also, again, in our building steering, it was really great talking to the students because we were talking about the cell phone issue and we were talking about the anonymous Instagrams and things like that post things that are hurtful and how do we combat those things. So we talked about having student forums and what that might look like. So we're in the process of thinking about how to do this now. It really would be quite a feat to get one of these done before the end of the year, but we're going to try. And then also, of course, academic competitions like science research. When Red Hook came today, one of the things Mr. Zupan noted, they were so impressed with our science research program that they want to start one in their school. So it's nice to spread that learning. And one of our new clubs this year, because really clubs are one of the most important things for social emotional learning, where students can feel like they belong, they can contribute, participate, build bonds with each other. And we had our first Science Olympiad this past Sunday. We sent 2 teams up to Wappingers who competed, and I think it was almost like 15, around 15 on each team, and we got 8 medals out of 33. So I listed there the different areas that we got medals in: anatomy, physiology, cell biology, disease detectives, dynamic planet, green generation, bottle rocket parachute, remote sensing, and catapult trajectory. So I don't know, Dom, do you have anything to add about the Science Olympiad?
I was in it. I was in the competitions. I would like to say it was a great success, especially for being our first year. You know, being able to endure such academic hardship, especially with such rigorous courses, both in terms of building different, you know, structures, like an actual catapult, a catapult that had to accurately hit a target, and we won a medal in that. It is absolutely amazing that we were able to do that within our first year. You know, it is difficult to underestimate the intelligence of the students at the school and the capacity that we can have.
I agree, and we were competing against some very large schools like Kingston, the Wappingers District, trying to think of other larger, Arlington. So those are many times our size, and we certainly held our own for our first year. It was extremely impressive, and I think the kids had a great time. Another one of our really popular clubs is EGaming, called the PV Ambush, and these are our big trophies we won last year, and I want to thank Dr. Luft, who is giving us the NICER grant for $1,000, and that's going to help with equipment for the EGaming club. And again, it's another way for kids to feel connected, feel a part of something, and there's a lot of enthusiasm for it. And then I also put the guitar club up here because, again, that's another very popular club where all students, and this is an example of what we were talking about, in one of those pictures is a 9th grader and a senior sitting together. You could see in another picture, if you look up closely in the back, there's students helping each other learn, students in a circle together. We have one of our classified students there who's participating, learning the guitar. So it really is a place where all students can come together, learn something new, and enjoy each other's company. And then we want to end with congratulating our newly named Valedictorian and Salutatorian. Our Valedictorian would be Fiona Chen, and our Salutatorian, Michael Halowiak. And we're so proud of them. They took rigorous course loads, and they did very well, and so we gave them all the special praise and pictures and celebrity attention yesterday. And besides being an awesome assistant principal, Mr. Mello also takes an awesome selfie, so we put him to work to celebrate with us.
That's my daughter that gives me that ability. But yeah, like I said before, the students at this school are amazing. I'm just thinking about Dom and, all the things that he's involved in. He's a diploma candidate, which, it's an intense 2-year program that he's involved in, and there's no, you didn't have lunch for a year, right? Because you had a class during his lunchtime, because of that. So it's just amazing to see that. And then, to be there with the Valedictorian and Salutatorian, Fiona Chen and Michael Halowiak yesterday, and just to see, the amount of hard work, time and effort that it takes to put yourself in that position. And to see how happy they were, when we were able to tell them that they were the Valedictorian and Salutatorian, it was just great. It's one of those moments you can tell they really appreciated, the congratulations, but they also appreciated their classmates, because the classmates kind of came out. We're sitting there this is unbelievable, great, So it's a moment that we get to see in school that maybe not everybody else out there gets to see. But it's one of those, you really get to appreciate the children at Putnam Valley and everything that they do to make a great experience for themselves and their fellow classmates here in Putnam Valley. So it's great. Congratulations to all of them.
Any questions?
I was going to ask Dom if you guys rehearsed this and if that's why he wore the suit.
Well,
Didn't you have a math presentation today, too?
yes, I promised my math teacher that for a major project in IB Math, I would wear a suit. And it's very interesting. Within IB Math, there's not only just the standard teaching and tests, but there's also projects and presentations to be able to show your full understanding. Such as today, I had to do a presentation on a complex calculus optimization problem. to be able to show my understanding at each step and be able to answer questions regarding different sections of the problem itself. So to be in a program like that that pushes you not only in your ability to cram formulas, but be able to understand the wider world is wonderful. And also it was nice to see the Red Hook representatives like this. So.
Yeah, and congratulations. Okay, so let me just, thinking about Dom talking about his math class, but there are a lot of kids that are not in that math class. So, like, what is, like, and those teachers are amazing teachers. I mean, just because they're not teaching the IB math course doesn't mean that they're not amazing teachers and then they're not reaching students, a variety of students. So can you kind of give me some, I mean, you kind of talked about it, about how the philosophy of IB is permeating all classes and all kids are feeling that. And because I'm concerned about all of them, not just some of them, you know what I mean? Like I don't know if I'm being clear, but.
One of the things that I've always promoted since we've really started talking about the IB program is it's IB for all. So we are one of the only schools in the country that gives IB English for every junior, and that's included our special ed students, and they thrive in there and they do amazingly well. And we've had special education teachers say to us, well, you know, at first they thought, well, I'm not sure if they're going to be able to do this, and then they see through the scaffolding of information and through the teaching of skills that the students are able to do it quite successfully. And so really what we have to look at is good teaching and approaches to teaching, which is what IB promotes, is about teaching skills, teaching inquiry, teaching writing, teaching speaking skills. So that's not the content. That's not like this is what happened in the Civil War. This is how you would approach a point of view essay in social studies. And these are the skills you need, and this is how you support a claim, and this is where you get the research for that, and these are the places that you can go for that. And then we work on analytical skills. So whether it's math, science, social studies, all the different skills it takes to be a scientist, a historian, a writer. Those are the skills that are worked on in 9th and 10th grade so that students are prepared to continue in the IB program. So just like with the Civic SEAL program, what we found is students did struggle with this project because it takes speaking skills to get up and talk about a topic of their choice and their interest, present the research, talk about opposing viewpoints, take questions and be able to answer them confidently. That's not something that you just can learn in a year. And so we've looked at how to backward map those skills in going all the way back to 6th, 7th, 8th grade. Every year, students should be getting up, you know, having a short topic that they can talk about, support a claim, present both sides, so that they're ready when they get to 11th grade, because then it's so much easier for them. It's not something new.
And Barbara, I'm glad you mentioned like math as well, because like one of the things that, you know, when we were talking to the Red Hook, faculty that came to visit, one of the things that we're talking about the community lunch, and you know, during community lunch, our math teachers are giving up lunchtime and they're doing extra help with the students, and that's not just IB students, that's any student, 9, 10, 11, 12, that it's utilizing that time to be out there with their math teachers. It's pretty amazing. Like the first 15 minutes of that community lunch, 9th and 10th graders are in a skills class, 11th and 12th graders are visiting all their teachers to go and get extra help in whatever it is they might need extra help in. And I got to throw it out there to the math teachers. They do an amazing job of making themselves accessible during that community lunch because they know math is a very difficult subject, and it doesn't matter if it's Algebra 1, geometry, they're all available, and it's amazing. So the Red Hook people noticed that and understood that and were like, well, this is great. This is going on during community lunch. And you know, those teachers are giving up their lunchtime to be able to help those other students. They're eating their lunch while the students are in the room with them and they're going over problems with them. It is amazing. So I know we talk about IB, and Dom uses all these terms that I don't understand in math. It's way above my understanding. But there's that. But there's also all these other things that are going on to make sure that those other students have the skills they need in the math level that they're at to be successful in whatever they're going to do moving on.
I think some of the confusion comes in the fact that there's different levels within IB. There's higher level classes, there's standard level classes, there's some classes that don't have a designation. So you could be in an IB class, but it doesn't mean that you're an IB diploma candidate. So what we want is different pathways for students. So students who want to challenge themselves, by all means, we want you to try to be an IB diploma candidate if you want to push yourself to try to do that. But there's many, many IB classes across all the curriculums where if you're really into music and you want to really go into music school, but you don't want to do the whole diploma, well, maybe you're going to take IB music at a higher level. And that class is going to teach you how to write a composition. Or you're going to take English at a standard level. But it's still the same skills where students have to learn to present their thinking, analyze points of view, dissect different types of materials. And really, I think what makes the diploma difficult is that they have to do the extended essay, the CAS, and the TOK on top of all the others. But we have many students who take something in all the different areas. They might just not be doing the core.
Okay, this may be totally off. So when my children, were in high school, they didn't have Putnam Valley High School. They went to Hannes. But a common thing that I heard from my own children and others is, like if I'm asking a question in class, social studies class or a math class, a teacher would say, don't worry about it, it's not going to be on the Regents. So it wasn't, the course was end test driven. Those classes we still have those classes, right? We still have Regents classes.
Well, because of the pandemic, we haven't given the Regents, if kids take it this year, we'll see, but we've gone 2 years without any Regents.
But I was just wondering whether the IB could open that up for students so that it was less end test driven and more learning driven, is what I'm hoping with this philosophy of learning.
Well, it's about approaches to teaching and how you present the material, and that's one reason why our teachers are really embracing this and working so hard. So there's a way to present and deliver content which students have to memorize like they did in the AP program, or students can drive their own learning where they don't ask questions, they develop the questions that they want to research. They find the answers, they analyze the answers, they write the end product. That's really the skills in IB, or they present the information like he was talking about. And again, that's not, just the diploma candidates. Everybody in the 11th grade is taking IB English, where they have to learn those skills that are also backward mapped into 10th and 9th grade.
Okay.
So, by all means, yes, we're still going to have the Regents, but the Regents has called us, and we've had conversations about what we think the end exam should look like and what we want really qualified students to be when they graduate high school. And it's not just students who are prepared for a test that they forget the information the next day.
Okay.
Right, and I think that's the secret to Barbara's question. The end result's the same, right? Those students are still sitting down for the same Regents exam at the end of the year, but the approach in which they got there is totally different, right? To your point of like this test-driven class where you're constantly focused at the Regents end of the year, that IB class is the exact opposite of that. It's inquiry-driven, it's all these different approaches to learning, it's developing all these skills, and it's the faith that if you teach students really how to learn as opposed to how to memorize content, that they will still be successful on that Regents that happens at the end of the year. So it's the exact opposite of what a traditional high school class may be in terms of Regents prep. These classes are teaching students to really learn and still have to take the Regents at the end of the year. So that's one piece. The other piece that I wanted to clarify is that I think we need to get over the mindset of IB courses versus an IB school. And I know that's what we've been talking about for a while now. Some classes start with IB, right? And they're 11th and 12th grade courses, and they can lead to different levels and everything, and that's great. And our participation in those classes is exceptional. But we're an IB school, which means so much more than the classes that start with IB, right? An IB school we've revised our 9th and 10th grade curriculums to align them with IB. We've changed how we teach students in 9th and 10th grade to better prepare them for what real world learning is, right? To teach them the foundations of learning. I keep messing it up, right? So by becoming an IB school, we have changed every aspect of every class in the high school, not only the classes that start with the letters IB. And I think we sort of get trapped in that, well, that's an IB course and this one isn't. Well, every teacher in the high school is now teaching with this IB philosophy, and every student in the high school is now learning through that IB philosophy. Similar in elementary school, you may have an elementary school that's a TC school, so they all buy into the same curriculum and the same instructional models, but only 3rd and 4th grade gets tested, right? So it's not only 3rd and 4th grade or TC school or TC classes, their success is based upon the success of K1 and 2, where they were all working in the same direction. So IB works very much the same way.
Seeing that this is about budget, wondering if you could talk to me about the budget challenges. You said that we're really not looking at any major programmatic changes and not looking at any significant staffing. I'm just wondering about what you're seeing as challenges moving forward that may or may not have budgetary impact.
Well, I mean, I would see a challenge, and I mentioned this to the faculty since the day I've got here, the fact that we do have a little bit of a diminishing population, as all of New York State does, except for the cities, is a challenge because, you know, the high school is a smaller population than it was when I first came here 7 years ago. And so how to basically meet the needs of those students and maintain the programs is something that we have to do a lot of brainstorming about. Other challenges, again, the growing E&L population, how do we meet those state mandates, is something that can be very complicated because students get a lot of, they have to be tested, and the courses that they're in are mandated, so we have to make their schedules work with the limited amount of staff we have. So sometimes that means teachers might end up with 3 or 4 E&L students in their class, but that class is not mandated. That could be a challenge for that teacher to try to work on that content with those students, especially if they speak different languages. So I think the challenges we face are the same challenges that all of New York State faces, that all of the country faces, and it's how to deal with changing demographics.
You talk about, obviously, not to belabor the point any further about being an IB school as opposed to having IB classes, talking about the collaboration with the middle school and building that scaffolding. If you could talk a little bit about, you know, kind of what that looks like and feels like and how that, where the benefits are or where the missed opportunities may be.
So I think it was the night I might have been approved to be the principal was the night they adopted 3 and 2 math 7 years ago. And 3 and 2 math, while it is a very, very good program and good in theory, the schools that really kept it were larger schools that offered multiple tracks to students. So if you're in Fox Lane and you know, you have your advanced classes, you maybe have these 3 and 2 classes, and then maybe you have more grade level classes. But for PV, we had moved in a direction where everybody was going to be 3 and 2, which did not leave us with an advanced track. So we've worked with the math department for a couple of years at the middle school and at the high school to try to realign our math program so that students are ready to take the IB program. So that's really been one of the major focus. We've also, with Dr. Luft, looked at the science department and ways that we could backward map and make sure that We're offering the sciences that students need. I know Mrs. Levine is starting to work with us in the areas of English to make sure that we're consistent with our reading and that all the different genres are covered and we're at the appropriate age level for the books we're reading. So it's still a work in progress, but it's something that we are striving towards.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry, I just had a couple of things. I just wanted to focus. I really think the presentation focuses on two main aspects. The first being the well-rounded students we're developing here in Putnam Valley. And we talked about many aspects, right? Everything from the seal of civic readiness to science research, to clubs and athletics, EGaming. And I couldn't be more proud of all the opportunities we have for our students and the successes they bring, both academically and through the extracurriculars. And then the other piece that I think really highlighted throughout the presentation is something that I know has been a focus of our high school administration for many years, and that's academic rigor. So I would challenge any neighboring school district of much larger size to compete with some of the numbers that were shared here this evening. Being one of the 60 pilot schools across New York State, we've already had 20 students earn the seal of civic readiness, and that number will likely increase the second semester. 73% of our graduating seniors are taking higher level courses. That's an unheard of number in school districts, especially districts our size. We had 145 AP exams completed by freshmen and sophomores. Most schools offer 0 AP courses to freshmen and sophomores. And all of that on top of a 98% graduation rate. So I think those numbers speak volumes to the work that's happened here in the high school, how we've increased academic rigor, and how we've found ways for every student to be successful, whether it be extracurriculars, arts, athletics, or academically. So I want to thank you both. I want to especially thank our teachers, and I want to thank mostly Dom, but the other students as well.
And I am going to add in just a little bit. We've always had a high percentage of our students go off to college, but how many of those students stay in college? How many drop out after a year, after 2 years, or take 6 years to finish college? And anecdotally, while it's too soon to get any real figures about how IB is changing that, we have had many students write us in the past year talking about how much more prepared they feel and how organized they are as compared to their peers because they've gone through the program. So that's something very important to us. And I just want to end, well, yes, academic rigor is very important. We really care about all the children at the high school and really want to do what's best for them. And you know, I know Dom saw this today, but while he was talking to the teachers, another student, uninvited, came into the room and introduced themselves and just, you know, wished Red Hook luck and emphasized how much they loved their high school and that they hoped that we were a positive influence on them so they could bring back some of these programs to their school. And I was really touched and blown away by that. So I think that's important to mention.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.